Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Keen. In this video, we'll be talking about Keen's latest file structure for version 2 and above. So before we get started, we need to first purchase Keen. To do that, you can just go to Get Bootstrap, go to the Themes tab or link, and scroll down to the popular themes, and you'll find Keen as one of the top popular ones right here. So click on that, and then you can just add to cart, and you probably need to create a account and go from there. Once you've purchased Keen, you can download it and unpack it, and it should look something like this. So you get this package file, and once you unzip it, you'll be greeted with three main folders. We have the design, doc, and theme. We go through the design first. So design is basically the design files, and all of Keen's designs are used, or rather using Figma. And what Figma is, if you go to figma.com, you'll be seeing this. All you need to do is just sign up or get a free account, and then you can start using Figma. And in the docs, we have our official documentation, which is similar with our online documentation right here. You go to KeenThemes.com/Keen, go to docs, and you'll be seeing our official documentation here. So this is just the offline version of it. So if you go to, say, index, and you open it in your web browser, you'll be seeing the same thing, but it's now being loaded from your computer. So let's go to docs, and before we move into this, we will go through the other files within Keen. So in the theme, we have two demos at the moment. More demos will be coming shortly, and then we have basically the structure will be demos and then a tools folder. Demos is where all of our demos sit. Demo will be like, if you go to this and go to our preview, these are all demos. So we have demo 1, demo 2 available right here, and then we have a tools. In demo 1, or in the demo folder, we have two main folders, which is the dist and source. The dist is where we have all the HTML files, like this is the index. So if you open the index, we can't open it now, but I'll tell you why shortly. So if you open the index, nothing happens. But you have the index files, you have the layout for our subheaders and our features like calendar, Bootstrap, charts, cards, and so on. So this is where our HTML sits, and the reason why the index file or any HTML file did not work is because our assets file or assets folder is blank. Now the reason why this is blank is because we want to keep our zip file or package file small. So at the moment, our package file is at 75 megabytes. So in order for us to reduce or keep the file size low, we will need to retain adding assets right off the bat. But that doesn't mean that you cannot generate the assets quickly and easily. And to do that, we will go through the tools folder here. But before we go into the tools folder, let's talk about what's in the source after the dist folder. In the source is where we have our JS media files. Our JS files will be our JavaScript, so our components, our pages, our vendors. Vendors will be our third-party plugins that we have. Now, these third-party plugins right here are just plugins that is included within Keen that are not available within any package managers like NPM or Yarn. So let's go back to our source, and in like our other components, you can see like our app, our card.js. These are all custom JS files that are created specifically for Keen to make sure everything's working according to our design, our look and feel, and so on. Going back to our media is just our image files, image or SVG files. So you have background images like so, and then you have some stock images that you can use. And we also have some SVG files like some flags for different countries, some icons, and so on. So this is all free for you to use. You can use it within your project in however or whatever you need. And plugins is, as mentioned, these are custom scripts that we've developed for Keen that customizes certain third-party plugins to make sure that it works according to what Keen needs. Alright, moving to next folder will be our source folder, and this is where we keep all our source files. So our source files are basically our styling files. So Keen is developed using Sass. So you have our base, which is our main functions and mixins, our components here, our layout pages and themes and other vendors. So again, vendors is what we have to customize third-party plugins like Block UI, Bootstrap Date Picker to make sure that the look and feel matches Keen's design. So that is what's in our source. And then we come to our tools folder. Now, tools folder is where we keep our gulp file along with our webpack files. So in here, we will need to run a couple of commands within our command prompt, or if you're using a Mac, a terminal, to render or rather to compile, bundle, and deploy the JS files, CSS files, and media files into the dist assets folder. So to do that, a shortcut will be to type in cmd right in the address bar of the Windows. For Mac users, you just need to open up terminal and then navigate your terminal to this path, whatever path that you've used to install Keen. And all first you need to do is, if you look into our documentation, the first thing you need to do is we need to download Node. Node is basically just a open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that executes JavaScript code outside of the browser. And yes, Node is required in order to run Keen's build tools. So you first need to download it. So you can just click on this, go ahead and download it. If you're Windows, you can just install Windows. If you're Mac, install Mac, and so on. So once you've done that, you start the command prompt window to the tools folder, which is what we did right here. And we need to install npm. To do that, you just have to copy this and paste it here and press enter and have it just start running. I don't need to do that because I already have npm installed. If you already have npm installed, you also don't need to do this. But let's say you've installed npm from a very long time ago and you have not updated for a very long time. So what you need to do is we probably need to update it. To do that, all you need to do is again just run this command and it will update your npm to the latest version. The next thing we need to do is we need to install Yarn. So next, what you do is you just have to key in same thing, just copy and paste the command into your command prompt and then run it. Now, what are npm and Yarn? What are these two? These two are basically just package managers. And package managers are there to automate the process of installing and upgrading or updating third-party plugins and libraries such as Bootstrap or Font Awesome and so on, or whatever other third-party dependencies that Keen requires. So it saves the headache of you including every single one of them into your project. All you need to do is just run Yarn and you're good to go. So go ahead and install that. Again, if you don't have Yarn, install it, run this command, install it. If you do have Yarn, you don't have to do anything. You can skip this step. Now, similar with npm, if you have Yarn installed, but it's been quite some time since you updated it, you can go ahead and run Yarn upgrade in your command prompt and have it update. You can also use this npm cache clean and with a force flag to ensure that, let's say if you're doing a Yarn upgrade and you get an error and something happens or something fails, you just have to clean the cache and then redo the command. Next is we want to install Gulp. Now Gulp is a streaming task runner. What that means is it lets you guys automate many of the development tasks, such as Sass compilation or bundle or CSS bundling or CSS or JS minification, and so on. So we already have a Gulp file within our folder. So if you have a look here, we have a Gulp file right here. So you don't need to write your own Gulp script. You just need to install Gulp so that you can run Gulp moving forward. So again, just copy that, put it into your command prompt, like so, and press enter, and then let it run. Now, if you already have Gulp installed, again, you don't have to do this. You can skip this step. Next, to verify your Gulp version, you can just do Gulp with a version flag. If you want to uninstall, or if you have an old Gulp version installed on your machine and it's sort of like giving some error or conflicting errors that's causing you not to be able to install the latest version of Gulp, all you need to do is just remove Gulp with this command and then run the install again. So let's go ahead and look at what Gulp version I'm using. As you can see, I'm using a local version of 4 and CLI of 2.3 or 2.3. So now that you have done all your steps for your installations, we can now run Yarn. Now what Yarn does is it installs all of our third-party dependencies. As you can see, I'm already up to date, therefore I don't have to run it again. So what it does, if you go to our tools, you see it adds this node modules folder. When you first install or download or unzip Keen, this folder is not available. So you need to run Yarn to generate this file or this folder, and then you will have all the dependencies you need. For example, like full calendar, font awesome, CK editor, and so on. So now that that's done, we need to run Gulp to build our assets. To do that, we type in Gulp with a flag called demo1 to indicate that we are building for demo1. If you want to build it for demo 2, just switch it up to demo 2. And in the future, if you have other demos, put demo 3 and so on. And what we'll do here is also we'll open up a demo 1, open the disk and open our assets, which is blank at the moment, and go ahead and run this command, and you'll see the assets get built. Alright, we are done. The Gulp command is done, and as you can see, we have our assets built. Now, Gulp is just an option of compiling and bundling. You can also use Webpack to do this exact same task, but we will discuss into more detail on how you can run or customize Gulp or Webpack in terms of which third-party plugins you would like to include in your project or exclude in your project or even add into your project. So keep an eye out for that future video, which is coming out soon. And moving on for this video is we will then now go to our disk and now load our index. And as you can see, everything now works fine. So you can go to our pages or applications. Let's go to maybe profile 1, overview, and everything is working accordingly. Okay, so to recap what we have for this video, we are just going through the file structure of Keen, and what we have in Keen, we have our design, docs, and theme. Design is where we keep our Figma file. You need to go to Figma, basically just sign up for a free account and get Figma, and then you can start opening our Figma file. Our docs is where we have our official documentation. You can find it online. This is just an offline version of that. And then we have our theme, which is where we keep all of our demos as well as our tools folder. Our demos are all separated between our disk and source. This is where we have all of our HTML files and assets. Now initially, as mentioned, our assets files are blank to keep the file package or the package file size low. to generate the assets, all you need to do is go to the tools folder, run the command line, open the command prompt from it, and then run your commands from the official documentation, following the steps of the official documentation. Go through all this, like installing Node, installing npm, installing yarn, installing gulp, and then running yarn to generate the Node modules, and then running gulp -demo1 to run or to be able to compile the assets. And you can also run create a localhost environment by using gulp instead of just loading the file outright like this. Let's close this. You can run gulp localhost, not dash attack, gulp localhost, and then with a flag with 2 dashes, demo1. And what it does is it creates a localhost environment, and you can then just run it. So this is allow access to this, not public, private please. Yep, and all we need to do is copy this localhost with port 8080, open a new tab, and run it, or rather, enter. And you have Keen running on your localhost environment. Now again, you don't have to use gulp. Gulp is just easier to basically type out. The command is easier to type. You can also use npm, rather webpack, which is if you go to our build tools, you go to webpack, and then you see certain commands right here. But before you actually do any webpack commands, you still need to install your Node, install your npm, install your yarn, and so on. So this is a quick start guide where you can start your webpack and gulp within our official documentation. Alright, I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so the next time we release a video of Keen, you get an update. Please also follow us on our social medias. Links will be in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.